Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is the 4th of September. It is Saturday, 2021. Sorry for the lateness of this video. I actually slept quite a bit today. I am still trying to recover from having this tooth pulled, and as you can see, my face through here is still swollen. But it was a pretty bad infection that I had in there. Obviously, I'm taking an antibiotic. This is something that just didn't develop overnight. I've been dealing with that tooth for a long time, and so you know that happens. I mean, and now it's taken care of, and now I just got to recover from that. And I think I'm going to be in much better shape after that. So anyway, I wanted to talk in this video of laying the groundwork. So what do I mean by laying the groundwork? So I'm going to go over what we did here at the homestead here, what I'm going to be doing in the homestead in West Virginia, and if you are thinking of starting a homestead, depending on what your options are, we're going to discuss a couple things. Okay, so when I bought this property, my house that I was living in at the time was in foreclosure. And I knew that eventually we would be out of that house, okay? So when I bought this property, I'm going to start over here. We're going to walk over here. So when I bought this property, the only building on this property was the shop, okay? That shop was here. It had a porch on it. There was another room that came off. And you can see where the door of that room used to be. And that part of the roof over that room that was there is shot. So, but anyway, believe it or not, that roof still does not leak. It looks terrible, but it still does not leak, so that's a good thing. So that was here. We had a porch there, and that other room was here. There were 3 crappy campers. The driveway in is not as you see it now. What we had was a rutted, muddy dirt path. So what we did to start with, and before we actually, so let me digress a little bit. So my cousin has a camp, and I won't say the name of the place, but the guy that runs the place gets a lot of campers and stuff like that. So I had spoken with him the fall previously. I found a camper, my 37-foot camper that you see in the icon picture. And so I purchased that camper. And then I asked him, could you hold on to this camper for me for a while? And I said, a while might be a year. And he said, yeah, I got no problem with that at all. So we parked the camper. He goes, it's out of the way, no big deal. So I paid for the camper, parked it there. I says, when I'm ready to take it to my property, I said, I will, contact you, and if you would move it there for me, I would appreciate it. Yeah, for a couple $100, he said, I can do that. I said, fine. So what happened was, I started out getting gravel and dirt in here. Now, we had time. We didn't know how much time we had, but we started, working on things. So what I did is I started getting gravel and dirt, or, gravel and stone in this part to rise everything up so that we could drive in here and not be going through a muddy, rutted dirt path. Where the greenhouse is now, I had a area, I put 2 loads of stone in to bring that up. So when we eventually, the next spring, brought the camper, well, we closed in the spring, I believe is what it was. And then what we did is shortly thereafter, I had to bring out the camper and put the camper on site. So we had the camper here. And then, like I said, I was still working on, this part wasn't all in here at that point. And so, they had to come through the mud, and he backed it up, and he got it in there for me, and that was great. And so I was like, well, it ain't going nowhere. So that's how we started out here at the homestead. Now, we continued to work on the driveway, and then eventually when it was time to come down here, if you go back and watch the early videos, we didn't have that area cleaned out yet like it is now, where the house is, or any of that stuff. So, everything was kind of, we did it as we could. So, as I had the money, we worked on things. Now, I'm very fortunate with the property in West Virginia. I'm going to get to my point of all this here. So that's how we started out when we first got here. So one of the first things that we did is we got the solar set up so that and then we had the internet line run in here. So we had, internet, and then, we had the solar for the power, and we had a backup generator. And that's how we started out up here with West Virginia. Now, I have time in West Virginia. I'm going down for a week this month. I'm going down for a week in October, and then I'm planning on going down in November, and I plan on spending the winter in West Virginia. So I have time to work on things as I want to. There's no rush. I don't have to run down there and stay down there and get out of any place, because I have this place here, and this isn't going to go anywhere. But what if I didn't? Let's say I had to go down there and live on site, boom, right away, and starting out in a camper again, okay? What are your priorities? What are your priorities when it comes to that? Now, number one, your priority, depending on, where you are, and obviously I plan on living off grid down there as well, so power would be the number one priority. Getting some panels up, even if it is not up on a mount or something right off the bat, getting panels out there, getting them charging, creating power, having a backup generator so that you can have, power to do things that you want to do. That would be the number one thing that I would do. The second thing that I would work on down there would be getting the spring together and working on that spring. That would be the priorities if I had to be down there tomorrow, okay? But I have time. So what I'm going to do when I go down here in a couple of weeks, I will be working on the road in. It's over a mile in from the main road. So I'm going to work on that. We're going to clear a site, hopefully get stone put down for the where we're going to put the camper. So when I bring the camper down there in October, I can put the camper on site, have a site ready to go. It can go there. Now, with that, depending on how much time, what we get done, and where we're at, I'd like to get a pole in the ground, a mount for the solar panels. So when I do go down there in November, it's going to be a matter of finishing up the rack. Maybe I work on the rack in October when I go down there. Maybe I'll work on that then. I don't know yet. Like I said, we're going to have to see how everything goes. But that's going to be, having a power source and being able to have power right away when I get down there for November. I'll have the generator anyway as well, but I want to make sure that I can have enough, power to be able to do what I want to do. So that's kind of the priority down there, developing that spring. So maybe that's a project that happens in October when I go down as well. I don't know yet. I'm going to see what that's going to entail, how much that's going to cost, and work on all those things. So like when we go down here for the week in September, I'm going to try to get as much done as I possibly can. That's the goal, okay? And so that's what my priority is. And so laying the groundwork, getting it ready so that when I do go down, that I can be as comfortable as I possibly can be. I can hopefully have water, and I can have, a power source as well to be able to generate enough power. And again, like I said, once I'm down there in November, then there's a ton of other things that have to be done. I mean, I got to get a dog run in, so there's a lot to do, so we'll see how it all plays out. I don't know how it'll all play out. It depends on what I get done the week of September when I go down. Also, when I go down for a week in October. It's all going to depend on what I can get accomplished in those 2 weeks, and then deciding when in November I'm going to go down there, to stay for the winter. So, October's trip's going to be longer to get down there because I'll be towing the camper. So that'll be interesting, So, but like I said, it'll all come together. It always does, always has. I'll do what I got to do, and we'll just work on things. So I'm going to be obviously working on the road when I go down here in September as well. There's a few spots, not a whole lot that has to be addressed. And as we do it, I'll show you guys that, and we'll go over those type of things, and I'm going to share it all with you. I'm going to show you how it's done. I have 7 years of experience living off grid. I've been here 7 years. June started our 7th year full-time here off-grid. So I think I know what I'm talking about now, and that's the beauty of when I moved here, being honest, I really didn't have a whole lot of knowledge of what to do, how to do it, and that type of stuff. I had an idea, I had some thoughts, it took time, and we develop things over time, and that happens. I mean, nothing happens overnight for any type of situation. So I realize with getting down there, if I can get the power set up, if I can get a site for the camper set up, if I can get the road squared away enough, and if I can get the water developed, the spring developed down there, it's going to put me in a much more comfortable situation than trying to rough it. I don't want to have to rough it if I don't have to. When I go down in September, we're going to be in a tent. So what? Big deal, But if we can, get down there and make it so that things are going to be comfortable and it's going to be good, then that's an awesome thing. That's an awesome thing. So that is going to definitely be the goal. It's just going to, like I said, it's all going to take time, and I realize that. And I know that, we'll get there. And that's part of the fun, part of the beauty of it is saying, okay, off to the new adventure. Let's see what we can do. But I'm going to show you, as we do things, why I'm doing what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And, trying to make it so that, like I said, again, you want any kind of transition to be as normal as you possibly can. When we moved here, it was rough in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. I remember telling the kids, I'm gonna say, listen. So just being honest, the first 2 weeks here are going to suck, and that's exactly what I told them. I said, but if you trust me, they'll get better, and life is gonna get better, and it did. It took time, but we got there. Once we got the house and when that was brought in, and then we got going with that, and then we had, we were able to stay warm. That was a good thing. So we moved up here in June, and we moved into the house. The house came in October because I had to order it, and it was like 6 weeks at that point in time. So we didn't get the house, I don't think it was until October. And then we really had to scramble to get things squared away and get things ready. Because winter was coming. Winter is relentless. It doesn't care. It don't care what you're doing. So getting in the wood stove, we got the wood stove in there into the house in November. Still wasn't finished on the inside. We were sleeping on the floor, in there, because that's what we had to do, because it was too cold to sleep in the camper anymore. So, those are the things that I'll never forget that. I'm sure the kids will never forget that, But those are things that, like that old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But you have to be willing, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. You have to be willing to sacrifice short-term for the long-term goal. Unfortunately, a lot of people in our society today are not willing to do so. They're not willing to do it. So, if you want to try to live this lifestyle, and make it a realistic goal and make it happen, because a lot of people have the goal and they have the intention, and they start out and they realize how tough it is, and they quit, because it's not easy. It's not easy. But if you are determined, mosquito, if you're determined and you're willing to sacrifice for the long-term goal, it can be done. Again, not an easy process, but it is definitely well worth it in my opinion. I wouldn't change anything because it has been quite the adventure, and we're going to start a brand new adventure. And so those of you that have asked, no, I'm not getting rid of this property. I'm keeping this property. And so, we will go from there. But I am looking forward to starting the adventure down south and seeing how that goes and where we go from there. And it should be fun. And I can't wait. Can't wait. So that's where we're at. So I just wanted to share that with you. Again, my energy level is not great at the moment, I'll be honest with you. I've been doing pretty low key the last few days, just trying to get better. So that's where I'm at. And give me a few days, and I'll be back on track. But I will be live streaming tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So look for me then, and I will get a video up earlier before then. So, you know, just one video today, just because. And I did promise Heather today that I would take her to the balloon festival, so we did that today as well. So, but that wasn't until this afternoon. Just like I said, my energy level is just not there, and I have been sleeping a ton. So, not making excuses, just being honest. All right, so anyway, guys, I am going to jump off of here for now. Remember, we are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD. Step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you're trying to do, you can do it. The only one that can stop you from reaching those goals is you. That's it. Stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you're going to be just fine. All right? I will see you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.